Hello friends, welcome to the homestead and my shop. If today is the first time you're visiting with us, we want to extend to you a very warm welcome and invite you to watch any of our over 560 videos arranged for your convenience in playlist, as we are confident you're going to find something both useful and entertaining to watch. If you have been here before, welcome back. If today is your birthday, we want to wish you a very happy birthday.
Take 3.
So because we want this project to be out of scrap wood, we don't want to go and buy any wood, we raided our scrap pile, and there is two reasons for that. One, we want to reduce our scrap, and the other, we are cheap. We don't want to spend money for this project. So we found two boards that they will work for our project, and they are similar. We have more of these boards, but they look different, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to start, and we have the general dimensions are 12 by 14, and the thickness, I don't know if you want to rip those, but this is about 3.5, I think. So we talked about 3, we might leave it as it is, I don't know, whatever you prefer. And the reason for that is just to minimize the complexity in the cuts, right? 3.5 is a very common dimension that you can find lumber, so the more you simplify it, the better off you are. Two boards like this, exactly like this in fact, from our scrap bin, and we built this beautiful organizational system for our bathroom, one of our bathrooms, right? Mm-hmm. Now this is a design specifically to match our bathroom decor, and you can of course finish it any way you want. So if you stick around, we're going to show you one way of how you build it. Of course there are many ways how to build it. You can change the joinery. We went with very simple joints, intending this to be a beginning woodworking project. And someone with very limited tools will have to use a little different technique for the slats, but the cuts to the main board can be done with a handsaw. We don't need a power tool to do them, right? Mm-hmm. Now for the slats we use the table saw, and you wouldn't do them otherwise, but again we're using just scraps here, right? So there are other ways you can find other wood.
Yeah, you can actually buy slats in the dimension that you want and just cut them with a handsaw.
So the idea is to show you the project and a basic way of how to do it. And if you stick around, we're going to do exactly that. So we're going to start by cutting the two dimensions we need first. Top, as you have seen in many of our episodes, and that is for consistency. Again, in projects like this, it is more important that you are consistent than you are exactly correct in your measurement, right? I mean, you don't want it too short that it doesn't function, or too long that doesn't fit in your space. But you can be, a 1/4 of an inch off, and that's fine. But you cannot be 1/4 of an inch different between the two boards. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And the reason I turn it is because we have a blemish on this board and we try to avoid it. So we didn't want to have this.
Okay.
And that's the only reason we did it. Now we're going to reset it to 12 and we're going to cut the other two pieces. We are designing this as we go. So in order for us to have nice square edges, we're going to use what has become a very favorite tool of ours, and that is our El Cheapo Harbor Freight corner clamps, or 45-degree clamps, or actually they are 90-degree clamps, aren't they?
Mm, actually they are.
I keep calling them 45 degrees, but yeah. And that way, without having to keep measuring, we know that, put one there, that's what, if this is square, the whole thing will be square. Without keeping measuring, we know we're square, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to square that and we're going to get back with you.
Oh, we're working on it. And then what is the purpose of
So
this?
we end up with a very interesting point here, and as you see, we have a rather substantial mismatch, and we really shouldn't. We have double-checked our dimensions and we have cut the pieces correctly, which of course we knew because we use our stop, right? But the process of elimination, and this board looks pretty straight to me. I mean, if you follow it with the camera, you see the grain is very straight. But looking at this board, I can see that the grain is bowing. Can you see it in the camera?
A little bit.
And when you put it here, you can see that it doesn't touch. It is not perfectly straight. And the reason I'm showing you that is to demonstrate that even if you cut correctly, you can have situations like this. So we have secured the clamp here, and what we're going to do now is we're going to, in essence, force it on this side, right? So I'm going to secure it here and then press there. Does it look good? Again, these are boards that have not been correctly supported. They've been on our scrap bin for a while, so they might have warped a little bit and so forth, right? But now we are square. Not we should be square. We are square, and we know that because we're using our square clamps, right? And we are looking good. And the reason why we want it to be perfectly square is because we are going to measure, or actually just mark. We want another shelf here, right? So we're going to mark our piece and make sure that we fit correctly. So do you want to mark it there? All right, and we're going to go and cut it. We're going to leave it like this. So we can, and when you cut, always know where your waist is. I mean, that is important. Otherwise, you're going to be short or long depending on where you cut. So we want to keep this board. So we want our blade to be right on the side of this. Does that make sense? This is our line. So we want to cut right, kissing this line.
But we want the blade on the left side.
Right,
Because that's
not on this side, because then it will be shorter by an 1/8 inch, right? And if you are wrong, as you can see, we're a little long, and always err in being proud versus being short, because we can save this, but if we are too short, there's not much we can do.
Right.
And here we are, we have a nice tight fit, just as we want, and I think Mrs. Wizard decided she would like some decorative dowel joinery here, so we're going to do that. It is always a good idea to do a test, and we use one of our scrap boards and make a hole to make sure that our dowel will fit nicely. Now, you don't want a huge plate, but a little plate like this is fine, because we're going to use glue. You want a little space for the glue, and the dowel is going to actually expand a little bit as it absorbs the glue. So, but you don't want it too loose, right? And the way we're going to attack this is we're going to drill holes. As you can see, our corner is here, so we're going to drill holes here and here. 2 per side on something that small are fine, right? All right, so let's get right to that.
Is it backwards?
Okay, is it flush there?
It is. Wait,
You want to use something and push it. It opens a little bit. I don't want your fingers necessarily. Okay, and actually I will do that now as we go along. I'm not going to open all of them. So we need glue. So we started the hole with a smaller bit because our correct bit doesn't have a very sharp point, and it has a tendency to walk on this wood because it's a rather soft wood. And we do that to avoid damaging our boards, right? So see us damaging the board on the last one. That wasn't good. What? I'll just start here on the bottom first.
So here we've got the larger bit and are drilling the holes again.
Let me. I think that's in all the way now, so.
No, keep going.
What do you mean no? There's no way you can see it. Doesn't go anymore in, Lovey. So we took a big fat piece of scrap and we made nice little thinner piece of scrap that we're going to use as slats in our build. Now we had plenty, so we're going to cut them in half because that's the dimension we need, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we'll be right with you. So we decided to put some slats primarily for aesthetic reasons, right? But also they will help keep this tight, right? Because they go right to left. Mm-hmm. And we're going to attach them using glue and brad nails.
Mm-hmm. So this is the front, and we used it just to test our spacing. So we're going to take these off, flip the piece over, and then...
And this is the Japanese technique of doweling. That's what you see here. Mm-hmm. I was trying to be funny. Apparently I failed.
It is. I thought you were being serious, that's why I didn't laugh.
No, because usually we cut them before now, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
We do Suzuki bang and doweling. That's how we roll, right? Mm-hmm. And do we have a process to our madness, or are we just eyeballing it?
We're eyeballing this. Once I get them all where I want them, I'll flip them and glue them.
Flip them and glue them. Mm-hmm. Flip and glue. But you get the idea how that will look from the back. Okay.
Bottom.
Bottom. That's it. No, I need it flipped, please. Right, and we're going to hit the dowels with a little bit of sanding and
you just want to sand these so they're flush with the surface of the board.
that is one minor inconvenience of the doweling process, right? Mm-hmm. Even with a totally flush cutting saw, you will need to do a little bit of sanding. Mm-hmm. My preference here would have been a mechanical sanding, a sander, a power sander, but Ms. Wizard...
We'll get to that in a minute. We'll see.
Ms. Wizard enjoys manual labor.
It's a workout. No gym. I don't have to pay anything for a gym.
Well, okay. So here is our finished unfinished project. See what I did there?
Finished, unfinished?
Yes. So the construction is finished, but in order for us to match it to our bathroom, we're going to paint it white. Usually we don't paint wood, but again, this is all a scrap project, and what we have in the bathroom now is painted white, right? Mm-hmm. So it will match better. And it's a simple organizer. In our case, it will go in the bathroom, but it can be for little knickknacks, for books. It can be a mini bookcase. It can be a variety of things, right? Again, it's the idea that when you know how to build a box, in essence, you can adapt that to be a variety of usage. You put a bottom on it, a solid bottom, it becomes a drawer. Again, in fundamental woodworking, this is the shape you're going to build the most. So in the back, We don't care about this disparity because it's not visible in the front. These are just aesthetic, and I guess it serves a little bit of purpose for things not to fall through, right? But it is not really a critical component. And we special made it for our needs. That's the other advantage of DIY woodworking, right? It will be hard to find exactly this piece in these dimensions. You might find something bigger or something smaller, but the one that fits perfectly what we need will be hard to find. The National Homesteading Headquarters, we have moved into the paint booth, right?
Yep.
We started when we first moved into the house, we set these 2 logs out and they somehow became our paint area. And so far it has served us well.
And you can see we used a lot of white.
Well, if we don't stain, usually we use white, don't we? Because those are the color schemes of our house.
Well, yeah, typically.
Now we had this white, so we're using it. And again, you could leave this piece as it is, right? You don't have to paint it or stain it. And I do like the natural finish. Another positive on painting this piece, because it will be in a bathroom, will be water protection, right?
Yep.
So we are going to paint, wait for it to dry, and possibly install it today. Is that the plan?
Yes.
It should dry today. It's a nice breezy day. So we should be able to make it dry. And as you can see, we did go with a paint to match our existing decor, but you could leave it raw, or you can stain it. You can even Suzuki ban it, because that's a new verb. Suzuki bang it. Because it's a good thing to do something when you put things in the bathroom to protect them from the moisture that exists in the bathroom, right? So the paint not only makes it match what we have, but also provides some protection from moisture. Okay. And here we are with the piece on the wall. And as you can see, it matches our decor. In fact, we have a piece right here that it is designed to kind of mimic it, right? I mean,
Which we made some time ago
long time ago. In
and
fact,
brought all the way from
right,
the Midwest.
because it's such an exquisite piece of woodworking, right?
Well, it is. It works.
But the idea is to match, right? And that does a very good job of doing that.
It does.
Matches our mirror. So this is all, folks. So we hope you did enjoy this episode, and if you did, we would greatly appreciate a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. If you didn't, the other button works as well. Share, like, subscribe. Let us know what else you would like to see in our channel. From Dr. Wizard, Mrs. Wizard, Elpida, and the Urban Homesteading channel, stay safe, wash your hands, put your masks on, and we're going to see you in a few days. Farewell, friends.